Listen up here. The restaurant industry is grueling and unpredictable, just like this show, from the front of the house to the back of the house and all in between. We will turn up the heat, you turn up the volume. I'm Chef Antonio Caruana. Welcome to the Tell All Podcast, The Burnt Hands Perspective.
This podcast contains explicit and potentially offensive material. You've been warned. Now buckle up, bitches. Let's go.
Listen up here. The restaurant industry is grueling and unpredictable, just like this show, from the front of the house to the back of the house and all in between. We will turn up the heat, you turn up the volume. I'm Chef Antonio Caruana. Welcome to the Tell All Podcast, The Burnt Hands Perspective. All right, The Burnt Hands Perspective is live right here. We came all the way to Las Vegas. We're here doing a bunch of stuff, all food related. We are here again with Chef Danny. She was on our show. You all seen her on one of our podcasts. And we actually have the privilege and honor to come in here and look at what goes on behind the scenes of making this cannabis food, the edibles, all that stuff. Along with that, though, the troubles and bullshit that you all have to go through to get what you get done here, all the laws, the regulations, it's basically as far as I know, as far as cooking and everything, it's the most precise set of rules that you have to go by. You're talking about getting testing by the pound, by the grams, by the ounces, everything else. You have to do so much to get what you get done here. I'm surprised you haven't just said, fuck this. At some point in time. You know what I mean?
We have.
Easy
Sometimes very easy.
So give us a little talk about where we are, who you are.
Hey,
Yeah,
right?
of course,
What's up, guys? We are behind and in front. It's your girl, Edible Dee, the happy chef, a.k.a. my man called me Danny because he's known me 25-some years, and they knew me as that back then. I was Danielle Russell, the happy chef, and I am with my good partner and my greatest friend, Todd Denkin. He is the CEO of DigiPath Labs. And a little short story on that. Your girl was the first chef that opened up the first manufacturing kitchen for the whole state of Nevada. And I was actually the sole supplier of edible products and topical products for the state for some matter of months, 4 or 5 months, until other facilities got open, other brands came to fruit. And Todd was the first lab that was open. So this man has been testing my products since 2014.
10 years.
So 10 plus years. Yeah. And we're going to break it down for you of exactly why my stuff is safer than everything in your pantry. Everything. Total. All of it. All of it. Because the testing we have to go through from microbials, powder mildew, homogeneity, heavy metals, pesticides. Yeah, we are safer than Oreos. For certain. For certain.
For certain.
And my man has got to break it down for us. Come on, talk nerdy to me.
Yeah. So welcome, of course. We're at DigiPath Labs right here in Las Vegas. And this is our intake room of the lab. So this is where all the samples come that we go out and pick up from each individual producer, cultivator, anybody who's growing, producing, or making anything. They have to get it tested before it goes out on the shelf, right? A very intense testing also, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So every 5 pounds of flour has to be tested, every 15 pounds of trim, which is what they make the extracts from usually and then end up using in edibles. Every 125 pounds of fresh frozen cannabis, and then every 2.2 pounds of extract. I don't know why they finally chose a kilo and all of this stuff, right? Right. Every 2.2 pounds of extracts, and every edible has to pass homogeneity testing. So as an example, for a gummy 1 has to be the same as gummy 7,412, right? So we randomly go into all of these production facilities, choose whether it's a gummy or a flower or an extract or a topical or a tincture or whatever they're making, because there's tons of stuff out there these days. We randomly select that, bring it back here. And what we do here, we check everything into our laboratory information management system. Everything gets a barcode, so nothing gets messed up because we have to be right.
Yeah, we track drugs here.
So basically what happens is everybody out there who's making the edible, making whatever it is they're doing, whatever the product, their byproduct is, they're sending to you for the testing. You give them the go-ahead. They get it back and they go and do their thing.
That's correct.
They
go out and sell it at that point. That's correct.
So everybody who's doing this, in a sense,
everyone
they're all starting with the cleanest, freshest block, like you said.
Yeah.
We hope. That's what we tell them.
That's what this man and his team of scientists finds out.
Right. Sure.
And if you don't pass, you don't sell. So that's what makes my job so important, because you can't rebake a cookie. You can't break a brownie. So if this brownie doesn't pass the same potency test as this one, you just lost 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand a batch. So it can get very expensive very fast. Not like our lab tests aren't expensive.
Those are expensive cookies.
There's expensive lab tests.
That's right. Well, they're not that expensive. I mean, especially here at DigiPath Labs. Right.
But no, they do get costly, and our products are definitely the highest. We're the highest taxed commodity in the world, and we're also the highest tested commodity in the world.
That's right.
For consumable products and ready to eat food, like the amount of testing of like everything we have to go through with this laboratory equipment. I get to play with all the big boy toys. I get to play with big boy toys.
We are only in one little room.
Yes.
Like Willy Wonka when we just signed the paper.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Did you sign it?
I did. Of course I did. So we're gonna walk. Let's walk. Show us a few things. Show
Absolutely.
us what makes the product. What show us what we got.
Absolutely. We'll show you what the product goes through right when it comes here. So first thing we do is we photograph everything. Because that picture ends up on the certificate of analysis. Then we put it under the microscope to make sure there's nothing, no foreign matter, no human fingernails. And we found stuff.
We found microscopic scorpions.
That's right.
Really?
In the state of Nevada, we have that. We have.
Hey,
you know your shellfish.
That's right. We did. We have found microscopic scorpions, and they look like a regular scorpion, and they live in your armpits. And they're in your bed right now if you're sleeping in Nevada.
Yes,
right?
They are.
And in Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona, they're everywhere. But you can't really do anything.
If you're staying at a good hotel.
So we look at everything in our microscope to see if there's any bad stuff, right? Then we do moisture analysis. Those are moisture analysis scales. We homogenize everything. So the flour comes in and we homogenize it. So that just means we grind it up so it's all even, like a sand-like substance, right? Then from that, we check the moisture through these moisture balances. Basically, we take a gram, put it on the scale, we weigh it, dry it out completely, weigh it again, do some math, and figure out what the moisture content is. In Nevada, it has to be below 15%, or else the consumer just is buying water, right?
Yeah.
So
and water breeds bacteria.
That's right, it does. The more moist it is, the more susceptible it is to microbiology.
Sure.
Same
thing with cooking.
That's
same
exactly
thing
right.
Making cheese. Same thing with making wine.
That's right.
Same thing with making a lot of fresh pastas.
That's right.
Same story.
Yeah.
Moisture is there.
Curing and dehydration, you got to get it out. Yeah. Like, there's no shelf life to it otherwise. And then, like you said, it just breeds bacteria, and then inhaling it. That's just, I had a pulmonary embolism, so that ain't good for me. But that's not good for you either.
It's not good for anybody.
It's not good for anybody.
Right. So once all of that happens, everything moves into this room. So what happens in here is once they prep everything, or once they set everything and homogenize everything in that room, they bring it into this room, and they're all in these little. Obviously, these are empty, but they're all in these tubes. Okay. So then each individual analyst will aliquot what they need for their specific test. So we test for pesticides, heavy metals, cannabinoids, terpenoids, and a whole microbial screen.
And what you're testing for is if that was on the plant or the actual product that in the process of growth or picking or harvesting.
That is correct.
So that way it doesn't, okay, gotcha, we're going.
And the levels that we detect are very, very low, 0.01 parts per million, right? Okay. So very low, and if there's something on there, we find it. It's just the way it is, right? Gotcha. So these scales right here are very high-end scales. They're very sensitive. They get calibrated every single day, and they get calibrated by the company twice a year to make sure that they're accurate. As you know, as chefs, right?
I can't be off.
You can't be off, right? You're a little bit off, it screws up everything.
Especially you can't be off because they're relying on you to not be off.
That's exactly right.
We can be off, fuck up our recipe, and explain our way out of it.
That's right.
You can't.
We actually create the ingredient that she puts in her gummies, right? So, or we don't create it, but we test it, right?
Yeah.
So if that's off, her whole recipe is off.
Sure.
Yeah. And like in seed to sale, what happens with testing, like not only do they test the genetics, but after it's grown from veg stage to bloom stage to cure stage, after it's cured, it has to be tested. It has to make sure all the water's out, there's no bacteria, and it's properly dried. And then if it's put into like an extraction process and you go to crude oil, winterized crude oil, that has to be tested. If it's distilled, that has to be tested. And then once it's decarboxylated, then it has to be tested again to see what active compounds are in there. Then it goes into my products, and then my products have to be tested again.
So basically, DigiPath Labs is keeping microscorpions out of your ass.
That's right.
So she can get it into your stomach.
There you go.
So
this machine is a GC mass spectrometer. Sounds very fancy.
Modular,
right? It's the flux capacitor. Right.
Flux capacitor.
So that is a $300,000 piece of machinery that tests for pesticides. We actually have to have it because of one pesticide that we can't find on a different machine. So this machine is for one pesticide, $300,000, because the pesticide is on the list.
So how about they just stop fucking putting the pesticide?
That's right.
I'll make that easier for everybody, right?
They really do.
It's all about whatever you can do for less.
That's right. Very few fails for pesticides. In the early days, everybody was failing.
Everybody was failing
because everyone was using them.
Sure.
All grown in their mother's garage, right? And,
Eagle
had
20
to
is on the shelf. Why am I not passing my test?
But nobody, it's too expensive. You lose 5 pounds, which is, $10,000 or $15,000, depending on how much you're selling for.
Sure.
And you got to throw it away.
So they learned the hard way themselves.
They have learned the hard way.
So pesticide companies can go to hell. And because of stuff like this and people losing money, they're going to end up going to hell because people are going to stop using them as much. That's our hope. Sure. We need that shit for food.
Right?
Just ingredients.
That's what I'm saying. Just for ingredients.
So if it looks like I'm all up on D right here, it's because I'm checking out her mic.
You just likes me. With my homies.
They are very close.
We're mic sharing.
We're very close. Yeah. Pumping mics. Pumping mics.
Scissoring mics. Right. Here we go. So this room is our main laboratory.
Love this baby.
More stuff. So this is our other pesticide machine. This is an LC mass spec. LC is liquid, GC is gas. So this is a liquid chromatographer with a triple quad mass spec inside.
It's making some noise, so things are working.
That's right. That's right.
Definitely not quiet.
It is not quiet. But this,
you guys shower up and then.
Yeah. In case of somebody has to stay late, they can always brush your teeth and shower. So that's actually a safety shower in case anything explodes.
So
chemicals
we're getting intense. Well, you have to have that because things can explode that are chemically driven.
That's right.
It's an important process that's going on.
Yes. No, for sure. So this mass spec, this finds the other 22 pesticides that we test for. That machine finds the one, like we talked about. So this is really a workhorse. And, it looks at the molecular level of the pesticide. So it has a library and it matches up the molecule and says, oh, that looks like one of these. And then they quantify it. And that's when the chemist comes in and says, is it really?
So by the time things get to this room, I'm assuming, just by what you're telling me, that it's no longer about the marijuana at this point. Now you're working about the pesticide.
Correct. Absolutely.
Determine what's what.
If it's there.
So we're removed from the marijuana. We're so far into this now that we're not even talking about the marijuana anymore. Now we're talking about what made it or what's contaminating it. Or
correct.
What can't go through the process where you get it. Right?
Yep.
That is correct.
It has to pass all of these before it even gets to me.
That's right.
And then I got to pass my test again.
That's right. From that computer to this computer, it's all heavy metals. These are ICP mass specs.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
That's right.
Heavy metal.
It's always heavy metal.
Rock and roll.
It's always heavy metal.
Right. So these are ICP-MSs, and you saw that argon tank in the other room, right? So that argon tank, when pumped into this machine, creates a flame. Okay, in that flame is the same temperature as the sun. So what happens is cold, right? So what happens is
no worries, anybody. Don't worry about it. We got things in here hotter than the sun.
There you go. So we take some of that cannabis, that ground up cannabis, we put it in one of these tubes, right? Then we mix it with some nitric acid, right? Once we mix it with the nitric acid, we put it in this microwave oven. This microwave oven holds, about 40 of these. This is Kevlar to ensure that it doesn't explode or get on, just to protect the machine and to protect the human who's actually doing it.
Yeah,
right?
so we work with Kevlar and temperatures higher than the sun.
This spins around for about 18 minutes, and the acid mixed with the cannabis turns to a liquid. Obviously, everything is getting fried. Then we filter it and put it into another liquid. And then you can see on this machine, same as the other side, the robot will come over, take it out, and then shove it through the flame. Okay?
Shove it through the flame. So basically, you're building infinity gauntlets here.
Yep.
That's right. That's what's going on. That's right.
Yeah, we all need Kevlar in this lab to survive.
Everything is destroyed except for the heavy metals. And that's how we determine arsenic, lead, cadmium, and
aluminum.
So this process here doesn't only work. This is how you would find metal or types of metal in anything. So this scientific process here is not really. You just took this and applied it to marijuana.
That's correct.
The edibles, the oils, things like that. But you can find the same process if you're looking for gold inside of a bucket of sand.
That's exactly right.
Same
Exactly right.
type of breakdown.
Exactly right.
All right, great. So that is some severe science, hotter than the fucking sun. Rock and roll. Kevlar.
Heavy metal,
I
Kevlar.
like this room.
Right?
Right.
This is a badass
Yeah,
room.
throw
It's
this
only
in
for
there.
badass
Let's
people.
Throw this in there and see what we find.
Mercury is the other heavy metal that we look for.
Of course,
Right?
right? And we can find others.
Of course,
Well, of
Mercury.
course, Mercury.
I know,
Of course,
but-
Mercury.
Of
Because
course, we could find the others, but those are all state mandated.
well, you know, Chef, just from like because I've done consults, I've done consults around the world, and some of them they're not working with somebody that's necessarily culinary trained. I did one consult where they were using aluminum like pots and pans to make gummies, and you know damn well that citric acid alone and pineapple juice will just rip that aluminum right off the fucking pan. And at that point you have metals in that aluminum is what causes dementia and like Alzheimer's,
right.
and
So
that's another problem.
With that being said, you're right, because anybody who knows, if you cook with tomatoes, if any
Yeah.
Italian person out there makes a lasagna, you put the aluminum foil on top, you take the lasagna off, and there's little holes tore out of it. That aluminum foil went somewhere.
Yeah, it went
It went
somewhere.
into your food. So that's the only way around it. So do not let any aluminum or any type metals when you're cooking interfere with the acidic problem. The
Stainless
properties.
steel, cast iron. Keep it
Stainless
cute.
steel.
Keep it simple.
Every day.
Every
Stay away
day.
from aluminum foil
Stay
when
away
you're
from-
cooking.
This is
Love
a
it.
GC mass spectrometer with a headspace, which sounds awfully fancy, right?
Yeah, it does. Right? So basically, it means what?
It basically means that the vials that we use in here they're about this big, and there's always a headspace above it because we heat up whatever we put in there to create the gas and then test the gas, right? So this is a gas chromatographer with this mass spectrometer. So has the same but different mass spectrometer as the other ones we were telling you, right? That allows us to look at the molecules that it's able to, suck out of the gas, right? So this is for residual solvents. So if anybody's using any kind of extraction solvent like
Butane,
heptane,
hydrocarbon.
propane, butane, which are the approved ones here in Nevada, it has to be below 500 parts per million to go out to the public, right? So if she would take an oil that was over 500 parts per million, right, then her gummies would be infected with, all of this residual solvent, right? So the good news is that if it is over the limit, the producer is allowed to just recook it, right? Put it back in the oven and then cook off that butane or cook off that propane or whatever's left over. But it has to be below 500 parts per million. This machine also doubles as a terpene tester. So the taste and the smell in cannabis is all terpenes, right? So this also tests for terpenes. We test for 22 terpenes here, even though the state only says we only have to test for 9. I think as a patient, you always want to know what the chemical makeup is of whatever you're putting in your body. So,
and I need to know as a
That's
manufacturer because I can tell you how it's going to affect you by the terpenes and by the cannabinoids and by the levels. I don't even look at strains or genetics. The strain names are cute. Don't get me wrong. Alaskan Thunderfuck OG is a total winner for the 88-year-old grandma with arthritis.
alien crack.
But hold on, green crack? What's happening? But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at the levels of CBD, THCV, THCs, beta-caryophyllene, I can tell you if it's going to put me to sleep, if it's going to be an anti-inflammatory. I can tell you, everything just by the levels. There's levels to this shit.
Well, you guys create the end result, and all the other people fucking put fancy names on them.
Yep.
Like Bigfoot did.
I think that is one.
Yeah. So when you are buying cannabis out in the market, you should really look like exactly what Dee said. Is look at the chemo profile, which is a profile of the cannabinoids and the terpenoids together, right? The strain name doesn't matter because people make that up every single day.
And let's go ahead and get rid of this indica sativa, whatever you were told. It's wrong.
Right.
It's wrong. Indica and sativa, all it is the genetic
Marketing.
name of the plant. Cannabis sativa, cannabis indica. Cannabis indica grows short and fat. They have fat fingers. Sativas grow tall, have skinny fingers. What tells you how it's going to affect you is the level of terpenes. If it's going to be like limonene or myrcene or beta-caryophyllene or linalool. And those certain terpenes are present in certain genetics. And they're also present in mushrooms, psilocybin. So, like, everything, like, literally, that's why FDA is together, food and drugs. Your food are drugs.
Right.
If I give you orange juice, it's going to give you a high. No, not the high I give you.
Right.
Not the high I give you. But it's going to give you energy. It's going to, which, also can be attributed to limonene, because that's
right.
in orange pills, citrus pills, lemon pills. And, you work with these compounds, you're literally making medicine as a chef.
Sure. So this also tests for terpenes. This is our main machine for terpenes, but it also backs up our residual solvents over there. So again, another very important machine to get flavor and scent, from the cannabis. These tanks behind you are helium, nitrogen, and
any nitrous?
No nitrogen, and then argon, for the other for the ICP. And then, of course, two of the most important machines that we have here are our UPLCs, which is
so hold on.
Yeah.
You said what? These are the most. I thought those other ones are the more important ones.
Well, those are important for safety.
Isn't it important?
Is it important?
Those are important for safety.
Okay.
This is important for potency.
Oh, that's important.
Right,
That's
exactly.
Right.
So this is where we test the potency. It's a UPLC, ultra high pressure liquid chromatography, which again is used in other sciences, and this is adapted for cannabis. And this tells you the potency, so the THC levels, the CBD levels, and all of the cannabinoids. We test for 11 different cannabinoids because, again, it's important for chefs to know exactly what's in it, so you know whether it's going to put you to sleep, whether it's going to keep you up, based on that chemo profile that we were talking about.
Yep.
So a very important piece of equipment. That's why we have two of them. We use flour on one side, edibles and oils on the other one, but they mimic each other.
So this is where we're at. We walk through the door over here. You go into the very first room, like we said. That's where you get in. You go in your little photo booth. You take your pictures. You think it's all
Find
good
the
there.
scorpion.
Wow, this is scientific. Then you go into the next room. That's where they're going to break it all down. Quick rundown of getting the metals out of it, checking out for the pesticides, things like that, finding out what's left, and then going into finding the sun.
Then we got to go to the sun.
So this room pretty much is sex, drugs, rock and roll.
That's right.
Yes.
With Kevlar, sun,
Yes.
everything else. And then you're coming over here, and after all that done, now that is the most important part, is the potency of the product and what the hell you're getting out of this. This is
that's the machine that tells us how it's going to affect you. Because, like I said, the indica sativa is lies. If they're putting it on the packaging and you think indica is going to put you in the couch, and you think sativas is going to make you clean your house, I have had sativas that put me in the couch, and I have had indicas that make me clean the house twice, even shit that don't need to be clean.
What's the ones that make you look through your curtains like the fucking like the fence rails?
A good Larry OG will do something like, or jet fuel, insane OG even.
A lot of cocaine does that too.
We do a 3-day turnaround. So
it comes into the photo booth.
And that's,
By the time you break it down and everything else, you're getting some sort of an extraction. Is that what happens?
We are. Yeah.
So from the extraction point to where you're running it all through to the monodulator over here,
right.
This is where you get your potency, right? So that's about a 3-day process.
Well, these two rooms are really a 1.5-day process. The 3-day process is microbiology.
We haven't got there yet.
We haven't got there yet. Right,
oh,
right.
shit.
This is a little tiny microbiology room, which isn't very impressive. So we'll walk through it, though. So this is one of our micro rooms. This is where we do most of the prep. We do both plating and qPCR.
We got to go through that fun factoid about how long do you have to keep the tested product, Todd?
Oh, well, we have to keep it, once we test it, 35 days. So on day 36, I'll show you what happens.
Yep, and we have fun dumpster divers that like to we have to put locks and safes on our dumpsters because people, we're a weed testing lab, a cannabis testing lab, sorry. So they would like to break into the dumpsters to get all the stuff that you put a lot of dangerous stuff on top of.
Yeah.
And they still want to break in the dumpster and get some of it.
Just on that point, just so you know, and just so everyone out there knows, that there's no big bales of marijuana here that they're testing.
No.
These people are getting samples of something that was already produced with nothing of value to you.
No.
So don't waste your time.
Do not go dumpster diving.
Right. We literally take 12 grams, right, and use about 11.5.
Right.
So
there's nothing left once you test it for heavy metals. And
plus, it's all been mixed with chemicals and it's all been extracted.
Sure.
And it's all been autoclaved.
Nothing to see here.
No, that's right.
That's one gauntlet club.
That's right. There are way better places to rip off than this place. That's for sure. So this is micro. We do PCR in here. You look at the DNA of the microorganisms. You put it on a petri dish and put it in these incubators, which we have to do for yeast and mold because the state makes us do that. So the 3-day turnaround is based on the yeast and mold test because it has to sit in these incubators for 72 hours.
So when you're saying that, I'm not going to cut you off, but I guess I am. But, you know, for the amount of work you guys put in and the amount of hate that we have for, not hate, I guess, but the disgruntled or disagreements we have with the state level of the laws.
Yeah.
It'd be ignorant to ignore the fact that they also have put in their time to realize what this stuff does to it. Right? I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. Am I wrong?
For sure.
So if they know that they set up the standards of what needs to be tested for what the hell could go wrong, so on and so forth, they obviously put in the same type of effort to make this all happen. Because if they really didn't want it to happen, they wouldn't waste any time doing that research. Is that right?
Yes.
So that's a little plug because these guys here love that. And you know what? State of Nevada, help them out.
Oh, yeah.
See what I did there?
I like the plug.
So aspergillus is the biggest problem for microbiology in most cannabis cultivations, right? It's on your thumb, it's everywhere, and you got to be really cognizant to keep your stuff clean.
It's like a fucking microscorpion.
It's like a microscorpion.
It's like a microscorpion.
Right. But if you inhale it, you know, it does create aspergillosis, which is a lung disease, which is really bad. So somebody who's immune, deficient or has some kind of compromise, they shouldn't be smoking that stuff. So that's why we test for aspergillus because it's a problem, right? So what we do is we do a thing called free DNA removal, the free DNA being the dead DNA. So we remove all of the dead DNA before we do the test because if something is dead, it's not really producing any problems for the end user. If it's alive, then certainly it is creating problems because it's growing and, multiplying. So that's right. So we remove the dead DNA, we do the test, and it's either a pass or a fail. So we go to the extra expense, it's Advantage client, but we do that to clean it out to make sure that we're only testing for something that's bad.
So there's a lot of people who would just be rolling a joint, smoking weed with that in there.
That's correct.
And that's quite common.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So is that cancerous? Is that something, or is that more of just
It's not good for you.
It's not good, right?
It's definitely not good for you, and it is. That's why.
Especially if you have a pre-existing lung condition.
That's right.
So it's a lot of coughing, choking.
You can get chronic bronchitis.
Could be that. Could be you just took too big a hit.
Sure.
Yeah, that too. That too. My abs came not just from Muay Thai. It came from bong rips.
Smash not pass, right? Smash not pass.
Right. So in the incubators, we keep all the plates. The other machine, computer-looking things are PCR. Analyzers, and again, we look at the DNA to determine what's there and what isn't there.
So does that go down? It's a 3-day turnaround in there to get to this room.
Well, it all happens at the same time,
okay.
But we're always waiting for micro because we have to do 72 hours for yeast and mold.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the longest test. I can get a potency test or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, I can get a potency test from in 24 hours.
That's
I can get every other test in 24 hours. Except for microbials, because it takes 72 hours to even have anything grow on it until you know.
Right. So we plate it, we sit it in a microwave, and it sits there for 72 hours. And then we pull it out and look, the colony. And of course, the infamous dumpsters that we have to keep inside.
Yes, we have to keep the dumpsters inside for dumpster divers.
This is all cannabis waste. So as we mentioned, we pick up, 12 grams for every 5 pounds from an edible standpoint. If it is a batch of 1,000 or less, we take 10. If it's over 25, if it's 1 to 25,000, we take 25 samples randomly, right? So we have them, and then we test them all. Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
That one's full.
What is in that? Is it a liquid?
So it is liquid, solid, and any other form of cannabis that we've tested, whether it's flower, oil, extract, whatever it is, right? We have to throw it away after 35 days.
Sure.
So on day 36, we have guys scooping out those tubes that I showed you, right? Putting them in one case. The tube goes into another case, right? Then as soon as we have a layer, then it's a layer of kitty litter.
Okay.
And then more cannabis, and then more kitty litter, then more cannabis,
and
more
then they
kitty
dispose of it. So
that's right.
There's when you open this thing's smelling the high hell, I hear, right?
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's definitely not like walking in the lab like you just did.
No.
The beautiful aroma of wonderful green.
This is the byproduct?
That's right. It's after it's been through everything.
Okay.
Right, and whatever was left over, right? And then an environmental company comes and takes us away, and they mix this with concrete. So Vegas is being built on pot.
Perfect.
Literally.
Welcome.
Quite literally.
Literally, right.
Pot, microscorpions.
Foundations.
I love it.
Right.
High foundations.
Microscorpions, right. These are just backup gas tanks. This is acid waste, and these are the kits that we bring to the facilities. So our technicians wear a body, a complete hazmat suit, covers your toes all the way to your, all the way to the top. You got to wear gloves. We have forceps and every instrument necessary to pick up whatever product it is, whether it's a syringe or a forcep or a whatever, right? We have to put things in temperature-controlled coolers with locks in order to transport them, which is silly, but it is what it is. And we actually have to lock the cooler to the car for the transport.
Sure.
Right. It's a lot.
Truck.
So
Yep.
our 35-day retention freezer, everything sticks around for 35 days, and like I said, on day 36, it starts.
Notice that's locked too.
Yeah,
everything's
locked.
Yeah, everything's locked. And this is our prized possession, our paint shaker. So as they extract the cannabis and mix it with the methanol or the ethanol or whatever they're going to do their specific assay on all of those different machines, they have to take it and it turns into a liquid and they have to shake it. So there's table shakers, there's hand shakers, but there's also paint shakers.
Sure.
And
It's like the Home Depot.
Yep.
The Home Depot paint shaker.
Sure.
that's
Sherwin
exactly
Williams.
right.
Yep.
And now we could put 100 samples in there at a time, shake them all exactly the same, right? Go and do something else
Sure.
instead of getting on TikTok or
Not like your
Instagram.
shake weight, huh?
Yeah, no.
Shake and bake.
Right. So
Shake
we
and
use that to
bake.
mix to make sure everything's consistent inside the lab. And that's the life cycle of a cannabis sample.
That's
Right.
perfect. There you have it. Just
Did
there.
you know that much went into your weed?
All right.
Well, gents, what did we think about weed science, man?
I love it. So listen, let me kind of close with this. First of all, thanks for having us. Of
course.
Amazing. I never expected this to be what I was looking at here. I knew there was going to be some science to it, but I didn't realize there was this much going into it. And what I mean by that is not so much the production of the science part of it, but when it comes to the food. Okay, that's where she comes in.
Yep.
So what I want people to understand and really realize, and a lot of people don't do this when it comes to culinary arts. Culinary arts comes in a lot of different forms. Whether you get a Michelin star or whether you're making stuff at a bowling alley, it comes at different levels. You're producing something for the masses, they're putting their trust in you, and the better you do it, the better you're going to be, better you're going to be recognized, things like that. For a chef of any level to dig into and delve into such technical aspects of what you're doing is a surefire win right there, because there are so many people who don't really understand what it is they're doing. A lot of your clientele doesn't do what chef does.
Right.
They send it to you, close their eye, and they wait for their 72-hour response.
Yeah.
And they have no idea what they're doing. You can come in here, as you just did, and literally break down everything that goes into your product. And you can't make a good fucking product if you don't know what the process of making it is. For instance, if you're going to be a Michelin chef, or you're going to be a gastro chef, or if you're going to be a molecular chef, and break down a basil leaf to make it do 6 different things other than be just a basil leaf, you have to really understand the process of that. You don't need to know what basil tastes like. You don't need to know what basil goes good with, right? You don't need to know what a foam does, but you need to know how to break that down and the technical way of doing it, to understand it so it does taste like basil in the end.
Yeah.
That's one small example. So what you're doing is you have so much knowledge of what your product is. So people just say, "Oh, she's got her book. She's a weed chef," and they don't realize the amount of time, effort,
Definitely not.
fucking knowledge, wisdom, constantly going out dealing with scientists and learning what you've learned. So this is why that we're wasting our time, if you would call it that, because we're not. This is why we're spending our time here in Las Vegas talking to you. You came to us in Virginia,
Yep.
intrigued me a lot, brought us here, and with your help, gave us a totally different insight here of what's going on. And the way that you're putting your food out, your edibles, is much more than just you being a chef. And it's amazing. And people need to understand that. When you're going to buy product, look for people like her who you're going to buy their product from, people who know what the fuck they're talking about, and stop entertaining fuckheads at any level of the chef world who
Like
have just
Hossein.
learned it because they watched her do it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
stop stealing the knowledge that's already been done from somebody else. That's like Bayer putting out an aspirin and you buy the aspirin version. You took from Bayer's knowledge. Same type of thing. It happens to chefs all the time. We get wrapped up into it. It sucks.
Hey,
Last words.
You can have my recipe, but the sauce won't taste the same.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, Like my products, I cannot put my products out to the masses like when it has fuckery ingredients in it. All my products are certified or organic. And my partners at Eden Dispensary down in Florida, like from soil to my product, everything is organic. We are very focused on, like, we're not trying to give you more crap and ailments that are going to put you in a doctor and get you more pills and more side effects and more side. No, I'm trying to get rid of that.
So like Maury says, the test results are in. The test results are in, and this is real.
Right? And like, no offense to Biggie Smalls, but I do get high on my own supply. And I trust my products. There ain't nothing wrong with my products. My products are the best products on the fucking market. Hands down, neck up, right?
No, look, the great thing about Chef D and her products are that she embraces the science, right? Embraces the science. You have to embrace the science. That's what cooking is, right? It's all science, right? This has to go with this has to go with that.
Baking is way different than chef de cuisine. It's way different from manufacturing a ready-to-eat product. Everything, there's levels to this shit, as we always say.
There's levels to this shit. It goes deep. It goes deep. This has been a great time, a great thought, everything else. I wish we could have seen some of the weed processes and stuff like that, but this right here is just bringing it all in. And the scientific, the background to all this and what goes into an edible. When I go to this little CBD store and see that little gummy, and you don't realize how much work goes into it. Right. And I'm sure everyone's putting in their level of work. Yeah. However, innovators are making it easier for them to do that. And you guys, to me, are innovators. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your contributions to the culinary world. No matter what it is you're cooking, is fucking fire. Sunfire.
Yeah.
Sunfire.
And we're honored to be here. So Burnt Hands Perspective, Las Vegas, Nevada, 2025. Great clip right here. I want that date to go down because who knows what happens in 10, 15 years when we're still talking, right? And what's then? You know,
oh gosh, to see how much we've evolved and leveled up in the industry, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Right. Maybe you'll be testing your sauces and everything for your restaurant.
That's right.
It's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with us. Thanks for our microphone sounding different. We are live in a lab scenario, so a lot of these live podcast things, that's how it works. That's when you know you're watching the real deal. Have a good day. Ciao for now.
Peace.